A question we have been receiving a lot is whether a K-1 visa is an immigrant visa or a non-immigrant visa. I haven't had a lot of people that have given me context about why they are asking this question. I've just seen on the Facebook group and YouTube channel people asking, is the K-1 visa an immigrant or a non-immigrant visa? My perception of why this question is being asked is probably because if you're going through the K-1 fiance visa process, you are probably wondering, based on what phase you're in, how your case will be treated, if it's treated like an immigrant visa or a non-immigrant visa. There's all kinds of memos that are released about, especially during COVID, about how cases are prioritized, and then with the COVID vaccine, and then also just the general logistics of the steps in the process that I think is causing people to ask this question, if it's an immigrant visa or a non-immigrant visa. But before I answer that question, I'd really like to break down exactly what a non-immigrant visa is and what an immigrant visa is, to have you have some context before I explain exactly what the K-1 fiance visa is. So an immigrant visa is issued to someone who has an intention to come here to live permanently in the United States, i.e. coming here to be a lawful permanent resident. Your intention is to come to the United States to have the United States be your home. So that's an immigrant visa, also abbreviated IV. And a non-immigrant visa is issued to someone who is coming to the United States on a temporary basis for a short-term reason. That could be a student visa, a tourist visa, an employment-based visa, maybe for medical treatment. But the idea is that a non-immigrant visa is someone who does not have immigrant intent. So the immigrant visa is someone who has immigrant intent to come to the United States to live, and the non-immigrant visa is someone who doesn't have an immigrant intent to come here and live. Rather, you have the objective of coming here to live for a temporary, or rather you have the objective to come here temporarily for a limited purpose. So basically, the K-1 fiance visa, legally, if you go to the USCIS website, the K-1 fiance visa is categorized as a non-immigrant visa. And I know that's kind of confusing, right? Because if you have a K-1 fiance visa, the idea is that you're coming here to get married and to live happily ever after with your fiance, and once married, your spouse. But the K-1 fiance visa is classified as a non-immigrant visa primarily because the objective of the K-1 fiance visa is that you're coming with that limited purpose during a 90-day window to get married. Yes, the unique part about the fiance visa is that immigration understands that once you get married, you would file for your green card and live here, but it is classified as a non-immigrant visa for that reason. Another reason that immigration classifies it as a non-immigrant visa is because of the process in which a person goes through for the fiance visa. It really mimics, it's very similar to someone who's applying for a tourist visa or other temporary based non-immigrant visas. What I mean by that, to be clear, is that there's a part in the process where you're filing an online application called a DS-160. And then there's also this form called an I-134, kind of like an affidavit of support. And so it's kind of a unique aspect to the K-1 fiance visa that differs from immigrant visas. However, with that being said, even though it's technically considered a non-immigrant visa on the USCIS website, it's also considered an immigrant visa by immigration. Yes, that's confusing. And yes, that is very common for immigration to have these conflicting responses and these conflicting ideas. And so if you go to the Department of State website, you'll see that the K-1 fiance visa is listed under the immigrant visa category. If you go to the CBP website, it will list it in one of the non-immigrant categories. But then if you click on it, it'll take you to the Department of State where it says immigrant. Yes, again, it's really confusing. Immigration uses that interchangeably. They will call it non-immigrant and immigrant visa. But at the end of the day, it really the categorization of it doesn't matter. I think, as I mentioned, a lot of people are asking because they're wondering how their visa will be treated in terms of presidential proclamations regarding COVID. And then I think the other main reason, as I mentioned, that people are asking this question is they want to know the process for their application. Will I have to submit documents in the SEAC portal like spouse visas? Will they schedule my interview, or will I pick an interview date? I really think that's why individuals are asking this question. And that's why it's great to have an immigration attorney. We eat, live, breathe, and sleep this, especially here at Immigration for Couples, and understanding the nuances and how these terms are used interchangeably and how the process plays out. And if you're wanting to learn more about the fiance visa process, on our website, Immigration for Couples, we have a free resource center and we have a free downloadable chart that goes through the steps that are involved in the fiance visa process. So if you're asking this question, is it an immigrant or non-immigrant visa? Because you're wondering the process, our chart should give you some clarity and help you out on what that process is. All right, so I hope that helped give you a little bit of clarity, even though, yes, it's still confusing.